This was bound to happen. You see, when you push too far, this is what happens. But luckily, no one was hurt. This is how also the left and the right describe one event two different ways. This is from the Global Mail from Canada, which is extremely left. White couple points guns at protesters marching towards St. Louis mayor's home. But notice how they didn't say they broke into a private property through a gate that said private entrance for guests and residents only. Notice that. But of course, you wouldn't expect that sort of journalistic integrity coming out of Canada. Next, the truth about guns. St. Louis couple defend their home when protesters enter private neighborhood, which is the truth, and exactly that's what happened. Next, Mail Online. Keep moving. Moment lawyer couple brandish an AR-15 and handgun at protesters marching past their mansion in an upscale St. Louis neighborhood. Well, what she didn't mention is that they were armed protesters going towards the St. Louis mayor's home in a private area, okay, private property, not public property, private property, but you wouldn't expect sort of journalistic integrity coming out of England, would you? No, because they are indeed far leftists. Next, from Red State, this is why we have the Second Amendment. St. Louis couple protect home the old-fashioned way from BLM mob. Again, 100% correct. They were a mob. They broke through a gate that said private property and started marching on the St. Louis mayor's home, and they were hurling insults and threats towards the couple in question who were outside having dinner. So they went inside, got their firearms. Obviously, they weren't necessarily trained as I would be. Nonetheless, no one got hurt. No one was shot. Feelings got hurt, apparently. But you know what? They did the right thing. Next, the right scoop. Watch. St. Louis couple points guns at mob of BLM protesters to protect home. They didn't go on to... Here's the thing. They were on their own private property inside a private property area. And they were making sure that these imbeciles weren't damaging their home, regardless if it's a mansion or not, regardless of what other political persuasion these couple, I don't know what, but I assume it's going to be liberal. On what side of the political aisle they stand on, this is their private property. And if you're trespassing, they have every right to point a gun at you. If that's your private property and they're on private property, your own private property, then you shouldn't be on there. You broke down a gate, then you forfeit all your rights. You're a trespasser. St. Louis couple stands their ground because mayor's demonstrators walk on their gated street. Again, the gate was locked, and you're going to see here in a second that they broke down the gate. And finally, from KMOV, they actually spoke out. We were in fear of our lives. Central West End couple seen pointing guns at protesters speak. Again, according to these people, they were armed protesters. Whenever you've not seen these people walk around with skateboards and other items in their hands as weapons, you see, this is how the left and the right portray these people. Now, obviously, I stand behind this couple here for defending their home. Regardless if it's a mansion or not, regardless if they're rich or not, regardless of if they're white or not, regardless if they're black or not, if you're trespassing on someone's home in a private area, gated area, then you get all what's coming to you. Obviously, nothing happened, thank God. But you know what? This is the kind of crap we have to deal with. These people have carte blanche, or they think they have carte blanche, to do whatever they want because the police aren't going to stop them. Because can you blame them? Should the police do their job? Yes. But can you blame the police for not really wanting to do their job, not wanting to mess with these people? Because it's always going to look bad, because regardless of what kind of force they use, it's going to look bad. And you break into private property, you break into someone's home, what do you frickin' expect to happen? Now, I'm not going to go through the whole article here because halfway through, at the end, it starts talking about the mayor. But what we want to talk about is the couple here who are defending their private property. So let's look how the news media especially in this case, puts the narrative before the truth, because the truth is actually more important than the narrative, dare I say. Hundreds of protesters chanted in march to St. Louis Mayor Linda Cruz's home Sunday night calling for her resignation. What they don't say is they busted down a gate that had a sign that conspicuously stated private property, residents only. So what happened? Well, you know what happened. A group of 300 protesters chanting, "Resign Lida, take the cops with you," marched after Cruz read the names and addresses of demonstrators calling for police reform during a Friday Facebook Live video. And all those names, by the way, were public record and are still public record, much like those snitch people about talking about people opening businesses too early. They didn't like it, so they called the hotline to have their names, put into record stating that these people were violating whatever directive, and they got mad because someone put their names out on Facebook. This is what happens. Public information. Learn it, love it, live it. During the protest, a couple at the nearby home stepped outside with guns at 7:30 p.m., which that's the narrative, but the truth is a little more stranger than that. Images and videos showed Patricia McCloskey pointing a handgun at the crowd, and her husband, 63-year-old Mark McCloskey, was seen holding a rifle. Mark and Patricia McCloskey are personal injury lawyers who work together in the McCloskey Law Center in St. Louis. The couple is receiving both praise and criticism online. Some people are supporting them for protecting their property. Mark McCloskey reached out to News 4 Monday morning, saying that he was having dinner with his family outside of his home when a crowd went through the wrought iron gates marked "No Trespassing," and private street signs on Portland Place. Quoting from him, "A mob of at least 100 people smashed through the historic wrought iron gates right there of Portland Place, destroying them, rushed towards my home where my family was having dinner outside, and put us in fear of our lives. Therein lies the rub." That's a legal term for the castle doctrine, possibly in Missouri, where if you feel in fear of your lives, you're allowed to defend yourself on your private property if there are trespassers, in which there were. Despite his claims, notice how the narrative, video circulating on social media shows protesters opening and walking through the unbroken gate. Again, you're trespassing. Doesn't matter if it's open. Just because a home has a door and it's left open doesn't mean you can walk in, because that's private property. Understand it. It is unclear when it was actually damaged or who destroyed it. Quoting again from Mr. McCloskey, "This is all private property. There are no public sidewalks or public streets. We were told that we would be killed, our home burned, and our dog killed. We were all alone facing an angry mob." I'm not going to stop right there because that's all. It doesn't go on and talk about anymore. But you got to understand how the news media, the print, the internet, all the rest, how they put the narrative in front of the truth. They want these people burned at the stake because they dared stand up to a mob that broke into their private property. Regardless if it's on the street of a private street, they could have easily went to their home. They felt in fear of their lives. And if you keep on this crap up, BLM, Antifa, you're going to expect something else to happen. And I hope it doesn't. But you know what? You push people too far, you got what you wanted. Everyone agreed that what happened to George Floyd was terrible and it shouldn't have happened. Even I agree with that. Shouldn't have happened. Not a fan of the cops. But if you keep pushing people to the edge, you want this to happen? You want this to continue? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep pressing people. Keep pushing people to the edge. What do you think's going to happen? Please like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoy my content. Thank you.